Okay, Terry, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Yeah. Okay. You want to say a few words before we take questions?
No. Other than if you're not talking, if you would please mute just for the courtesy of the rest. And when you want something to say, hit *6 and we'll take your call. I promise you we'll answer it, or if we can.
Okay. Let me ask a question before we get started. I got a email from Montana today. It had 15 pages on it, and what it looks like is people are trying to do the petition for too many years. It started in the petition that caused all this was started in 1984 through 2017. I talked to Kerry about it. We don't believe that they did this petition like we're doing.
Okay, who's ringing? You need to mute that.
Hold on,
Thank you.
Okay. You have anything to say about that? Because I think there's several people getting this.
We've had several people that went back. You got to understand something. The notice of deficiency and the notice of determination hasn't always been used. So if you're going back and telling them that you didn't get a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination in a year that they didn't even use them, that confuses them. We're dealing with people that just have trouble following instructions. And so if you go back as far as you have to, but don't go all the way back as far as some of you have been going back. There's no reason for it. So 2000 to 2017 seems to work fine. And that is a lot of years.
I think Dwayne Williams, he did 1994 to 2017, didn't have any problems.
Right, but he had a problem back there, so we took care of it. But the IRS has trouble going back 10 years. I'm not saying that they won't, but if you have a problem back in the 90s, get that year too. But if you don't have problems in the 90s, there's no reason to go back and get it. It just takes a lot longer for you, that's all.
Hey, number 1312, the last four digits, did you have a question?
No, I forgot how to mute out.
Hit star
six.
And if you want to unmute, you hit star 6 again.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody have a question? Let's start that way this time. Does anybody want to share something with anybody?
Yeah, one question. You said go back. You can go back to 2000.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So from 2000 to 2017, it doesn't seem to have any problems. That's 17 years.
Hi, this is Eileen, and I'm new to all of this process that we're discussing with jurisdiction. And I did as Ed told me to. I filed the petition, and I wrote the letter to the justice. And today I received a court date for the petition. And my question is, since I don't have the letter about jurisdiction, what happens if the court date comes up and I don't have that?
Ask for a continuance.
Okay? As simple as that.
Unless you want to make it more complicated, we can do that.
No. I'm a simple woman. I need simple instructions.
All right.
Okay.
Carrie, I'm confused about why she wrote a letter to the judge.
Yeah. Would you explain why you wrote a letter to the judge? I think if I understand it, she wrote it to the DOJ, or I think she wrote it. I'm telling them to write it to the the United States District Court.
Yeah, but see, that has nothing to.
That has nothing to do with go ahead.
Yeah, I was told to write it to the District Justice, the District Court Justice.
Chief Justice, United States District Court.
Right.
That has nothing to do with tax court, right? That's two separate things.
Okay, it's let's see. It says first get the petition. In the instructions I got, it says first get the petition off the U.S. Tax Court Gov and the federal blah blah blah. And then it says this takes about 6 weeks. Meanwhile, start writing to the District Court Chief Justice. Asking,
okay, what did you write him? Tell me what you wrote him.
Okay, let me get my copy. Okay, give me a minute to find what I wrote. Okay, it was to Justice Howell, and I said, I'm requesting written confirmation as to whether the United States District Court for the District of Columbia has jurisdiction over the Internal Revenue Service.
Okay.
Is that not right?
It'll work. The best thing that what I tell them to say is, I looked at your website and you're a court of limited jurisdiction. Does that limited jurisdiction include the Internal Revenue Service? And then let them respond. They're not going to respond right off the bat. So just keep your foot pedal to the metal and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing until you get an answer. What else I found is, if you look on their website, it says contact us. There's a place where you can email them.
The justice?
Yes, it'll say email, and then you'll just email them the same thing. You're a court of limited jurisdiction. I did it Thursday, and I got it. They notified me within 30 minutes. And they said we don't give legal advice. So I went back in and said, this isn't for legal advice. My attorney can't answer me, so I need an answer. And I just kept emailing the lady or whoever it was that was returning it. They emailed me about 6 or 7 times, and then they said, well, we're not going to answer the question. So the way I do stuff is I emailed her about another dozen times. Then they started coming back because I don't know what they did. They shut it off. But you can try to email them and at the same time mail them. Okay. That way you can get your answer.
Okay. All right.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to have to look at this some more and maybe email you a few more times.
That'll be fine. You know how to get a hold of Ed. You get a hold of Ed. What we're doing is people are sending Ed their email asking a question and asking us to get back to them, and then they don't give us their phone number.
Oh, gee.
If you want to get back to us, if you want us to get back to you on your email, we need to have a phone number or some kind of something to get back to you with.
Okay. All right, that'll be good.
Thank you for your question.
I appreciate it. Okay, yes. Thank you.
Now,
hi, Carrie. This is Beverly on Minnesota. I have a question.
Oh, boy. Go ahead.
Sorry. I didn't mean to overwhelm you. I sent you a motion that a few of us in Minnesota had received where the IRS is asking for a penalty to be assessed for making a frivolous filing. And I'm pretty confident in developing a response to that, but I'm just curious if anyone on any other states have received a similar response as part of the motion to dismiss, and if so, how they've responded and what the outcome will be. And I'll move it out and listen.
Okay, well, we've had a few of those, and we answer it. It depends on what they're saying. On there, it'll say we need a more definite statement because your statement doesn't follow the rule, whatever it is, of the court. Well, that one's an easy one. We're going to send you going to give you a penalty for a frivolous filing. We just go back in and get a Form 2, write amended on it, and go back and say the exact same thing. Where the problem is people, after I've seen them, they're changing what they're saying. They're putting too many years on there, and it would be frivolous because in 1970 they didn't use the notice of deficiency or notice of determination, and people are going way back. When people go way back, that's where we're having our most problems because you're opening a door that doesn't need to be opened.
Carrie?
Yes.
A suggestion is they will look on any notices of liens they have, any reason for the IRS to be attacking them. It's all on the notice of liens. Use the years on the tax notices of liens.
There you go.
More.
That's right, and that's what we're doing. Yes. So and then on your tax lien, let's say it's 2000, 2005, 6, 7, 8, and 11. Then then use those years. Because then you'll have less trouble. But people are opening doors that don't need to be open because they're asking for, I had a guy ask for 1951 all the way through 2017. And I asked him why. He said, well, I was born in 51. Well, think about that. You're born in 51. You're not working. There's no way you could admit you were working, and they didn't use a notice of deficiency back then. So you're asking for trouble. And if you want to, before you send it out, get a hold of me or Ed, and we'll look it over for you, and just make a suggestion, and then help you get it filled out correctly. If you need help with that, Ed's got some John Does, and we'll send those to you so you at least have the format proper. Did that answer your question? By your silence, I'll say it did.
I was really talking about responding to their suggestion that there be a penalty, and I didn't do it for any crazy drunk years or anything like that. Just
well, the penalties. How are they going
to? The IRS attorney went on and on about, there have been 28 of these in the state of Minnesota alone, and there's 350 of these nationwide right now, and blah blah blah, whine. And at the end of it all, once they're doing the motion to dismiss, but they're also asking for a penalty for frivolous filing. So, and as I said, I think I can come up with a response to that part of it, which I'm happy to send to you for review. I just was curious if anyone on any other states had seen that. That's all.
I got you. Thank you.
May I suggest that you ask them what they find frivolous about your filing, and so that you can certainly change it if need be? They went on and on for like 10 pages, but it's mostly whining.
Well,
I emailed a copy of it to Carrie.
Okay.
Yes.
So
where the problem is we're killing them with it, and they can't get out of it. They don't know how to get out of it. So now they're into this so deep. That's what they're doing. Is they're now just, like you said, they're whining. I don't know what they're going to do because they're trying to stop it, but it's you know what critical mass is, right? That's where you reach that point where it's going to happen whether you do anything or not, and they're getting close to that, I think.
But again, that guy is pushing. He's being tasked to do a job, and he's been sitting on his laurels all this time, and he's trying to take it out on you. So I would simply ask, don't mean to be offensive or frivolous. If you would define what frivolous is, I would be happy to address it.
Yep.
Hey, Carrie, I got a question. Because my step, this is Aaron from Orlando. Yeah, my father Tito received a similar letter. He's actually on the other line, and it does say that, but at the end it says that it's going to be dismissed, due to lack of jurisdiction by a certain date. So, but they did on that motion, they put cases, numbers of cases, from people that have been doing this. But what they did was they're pointing him as a person that has actually filed these other ones, and that's what the weird motion says. But it goes on and on, like she was saying, it goes on and on with him ranting, about all these frivolous stuff. But it's just what it says on his. I don't know about the lady that was speaking prior to me, but it says that if you continue to file these similar petitions, that that they will go ahead and put in for a penalty. Is that what that says?
Well, if that's the case, then if they're going to put in, they're going to tell you, if they're going to tell you for a penalty, once you get your thing that they don't have jurisdiction, then the penalty is a waste of time because they don't have jurisdiction to give you a penalty anyways.
That's what I figure.
So like I say, just on those kind, just sit back and wait because it's coming.
You gotta remember, the IRS, ever since its beginning, has done nothing but operate on fear.
Right.
And that's what they're trying to do. Fear.
And now we're ahead of the game because we're ahead of it, and they're not. They don't like it. Like that one lady said, they're overwhelmed. They haven't done anything in years other than screw people's lives up. Now we got something that combats it. So now they're going to have to start working, and that's not their favorite pastime.
Hi, glad to be on the call. Matt from South Carolina.
John in Salt Lake.
All right,
okay.
Who wants to go first? John, you go ahead. I'll wait.
Okay, thank you. Does this process work? Also, since I never filed.
On their end.
What's that?
Yes.
This is John again. Does this process work even if you haven't filed a tax return since 1994?
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember who the lady was, but what she said about writing a letter to, I think she said the Justice Department or the District Court Chief Justice, that if they give us any hassles, what if we write in a letter to them I'm going to turn this over to my congressman and senator. Would that help?
I don't know. Possibly.
I think it ought to scare them good. Since they've been in trouble in 1998 when they got challenged by we the people.
Right. But we won't know what it's going to do until you do it. But a lot of the stuff, I stopped filing in 1988 when I came up with this. And it worked for me.
Okay.
So so I've gotten everything released now. So yeah, it'll work. But if you have any questions or you have anything that you don't think will help or you need help with it, don't just do it to do it. Email Ed, and if Ed can't help you, he'll email me, and I'll be more than glad to help you. Like I said, problem, email Ed, give him your phone number. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
What is your name and your email?
Okay. Whoever sent you this invitation tonight, it's on there.
Daniel.
Okay. It's on there. It's on there for you.
Okay.
And then we'll get it straightened out so that we can eliminate as many problems as we can.
Thank you.
No, more than welcome.
Okay, so it's Matt again. Thanks so much for taking my call, or answering my question, rather. And I was invited to this call, but I have some knowledge about other things, and the nature of my question is, and you have to excuse my ignorance. What I'm hearing is that this process is both proactive and reactive, depending upon where you are with the IRS, what status you're in with them. Is that correct?
Okay. What this does is have you ever watched a football game and the team that's on the field, okay, a team that's on the field on defense all the time never gets the ball. How many times do they win?
Right.
Okay. We're on offense now. What we're doing is we're going to the tax court. And the IRS will tell you they don't have jurisdiction. So you're going to get a court order signed by a United States federal judge saying the IRS does not have jurisdiction.
Okay.
That's what makes it work. I don't care where you are with them. Now, with that, there's other things that I have stepped out and tried and have done. Okay? Now, the reason I'm telling you to go to the United States District Court, the reason I'm telling you to go there, if the CID comes after you, they're going to take you to the United States District Court. Okay? Now, the question is, if the United States District Court does not have jurisdiction, how can the CID take you there? And if they do take you there, they're not taking you there to buy you a piece of pie. They're taking you there to take you to jail. That may happen tomorrow. That may happen in 10 years. That may never happen. But if you have a letter from the judge of the court that says the United States District Court has no jurisdiction on the IRS, you're pretty much. What are they going to do to you now? See, and with what I'm doing with this. The court order, I'm writing a letter to the IRS, and they do have a letter that the IRS will give you that says you are not legally required to file a tax return. Well, we're using this court order to get that. Well, when you get that, then you can write a letter to your state. If your state's a state that has income tax, you ask the state, hey, how do I fill out my tax return? They're going to tell you to follow the feds. Whatever the federal says, you do. Well, now you have a court order that says they don't have jurisdiction, and you have a letter from them saying you're not legally required to file a tax return. Now what are they going to say? See, every one of them is an offensive.
So my two final questions.
Sure.
I'll mute. I've got a statement from the IRS for the year, and then trying to decide what to do going forward. I've been wanting to just be done with them and no longer file and contract with them. And so what it sounds to me is this is kind of a catch-all. Instead of duking it out, all the logistical stuff that's set up, this is just a umbrella or a blanket tool that once you have it in hand. Now, do you have to maintain it? Do you have to constantly get answers from the federal court, or once you get this done one time, then it's
well. There's other things you can do that will pick it up and do all of that. But this will get you from 2017 back. We'll clear up everything from 2017 back. Okay, now the question is, if they didn't have jurisdiction from 2000 to 2017, how did they get it for 2019? That would be my question. But then in 2020, send it out again and then only use those 3 years. Every so often it's like maintenance. When you change the oil on your car, is it done? You change the oil one time and you're done for the next 75,000 miles. Or do you do it every 3,000 to 5,000? Same thing. No, every 3 to 5 years to just redo it.
So one final thought is with that signed letter from the federal judge, do you just mail that copy with the statement as a response to it?
Okay. Again, that's a question. I'm going to ask you a question. What state do you live in?
South Carolina.
Okay, in South Carolina, Saturday, is it going to rain or snow or be sunny?
Oh,
see, you don't know. I don't know. That's a question I don't know because it hasn't come yet. But as you get it, you'll start thinking of things you can do with it. But to answer your question, if you get it and you think that needs to be done, by all means do it. If you get it and you write a cover letter and they send you something in the mail, let's say you get a CP 504, how do you deal with it now? All I do is
so in other words, they may not even send me anything more, but if they do send something, then I could respond that,
there you go.
Why are you bothering me because you have no jurisdiction?
There you go. See? There you go. But I don't even give them a courtesy of a cover letter. I take what the letter they sent me, put it in an envelope. I take my...
Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget to like this video. And don't forget to click the bell next to the subscribe button so you're notified when there's a new upload. Here's the front page of the channel. The bottom arrow is pointing at the subscribe button that's normally red until you click on it, and this one turns white after you subscribe. And the right one is the arrow. The top arrow is pointing to the bell. Now, the bell doesn't show up until after you click the subscribe button, and then the bell will show up. And that way you can be notified of new uploads. My blog is, our blog is texasrepublic.wordpress.com. Our website is thetexasrepublic.com. Our email address is oneyellowroseenterprises@gmail.com. Our YouTube profile is, this is the link because YouTube doesn't allow us to have a customized URL until we have over a certain number of subscribers. And follow us on Twitter at Texas Republic for You and at We Are Texians. Check out our other videos and playlists. Republic of Texas RT documentary. Texas and other American states is under a military occupation. The Republic of Texas Forum of 2016. And describe the kind of people who would thrive in independent Texas. And so check them out.
A copy of my court order, put it in the envelope, and there's a set of statutes that comes from the IRM, Internal Revenue Manual, and it states all tax court orders are final and binding. Put a copy of that in there. Now you got a 50-cent stamp, and you're done.
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming everybody on the call knows that the IRS is the biggest privately owned debt collection corporation that ever exists.
I'm sure they do, and And so what we're doing is we're going to the court, and the court that has jurisdiction over them is and the funny part about it is the IRS is actually telling you they don't have jurisdiction.
Right. This is all. It's just getting people to consent, and then they use tricks and fear and intimidation to.
Right. This takes most of that away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to follow up. I think I have the invitation with Ed's email, and we'll I guess we'll follow up with Ed. And what was your name, sir?
Mine's Kerry.
Okay, Kerry. What pleasure. Thanks so much for your time.
And when Ed gets overwhelmed or he has a question, but if you will do us a favor, email us and say, hey, I got a question. Put a phone number that we can reach you. Because
Absolutely.
it doesn't do me any good to get, hey, I got a question. Can you answer it? And there's no numbers on there. There's no email. There's no email or nothing. They blocked everything. Well, I just delete those because I can't answer you anyway.
Right. Okay.
Hey, can I jump in with you guys? That's my friend Matt that called. I gave him the number tonight, but neither one of us have the email address because we got it from another friend, and he doesn't have the email address. I don't think you do. Do you, Matt?
I'm looking right now at the PDF.
All right. Let me do this then. If you'll give me your email address, I'll send it to you.
Okay. Mine or Tommy?
Well, give him yours, and then he shoot me over, Matt.
Okay, mine is mattmartell@me.com.
That don't do me no good because you might have two L's in there. Just spell it out for me. I'm an idiot.
So I'm gonna alpha phonetically spell it out for you if that's all right. Mike Alpha Tango
MILL.
So MATT.
Okay.
MAR.
Let me do it this way. Email Ed. Ed, do you mind if I give him your email address?
Now let me give it to him.
Yes, please do. Here, then you can email us.
Okay, my email address, REPTX777@att.net.
Did you get that?
I got Romeo Echo Papa.
REP is short for Republic. TX short for Texas.
Yeah.
777@att.net.
Okay. REPTX777@att.net.
There you go.
Yes.
Just email him and he'll get it to you. He'll get you everything you need to know.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you. Okay, Kerry.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? All right.
Kerry?
Yeah.
This is Patty. I had some interesting things. I filed a notice, and I had on the notice the Social Security Administration, both of them, the local one and the federal one, and the IRS. And I got two calls yesterday, and they were both from the United States. And from the numbers, it was the Social Security Administration. And I had names with the offices, like Office of the Social Security and the administrator's name. And I think they were a little concerned because their name was on it, and they were just probably calling to say, "Oh no, we just have to do what we're told." But,
then you tell them. Then tell them what to do.
Well, that was in the notice. It was.
That's fine.
I sent you a copy of it. It was pretty thorough, and I have several, probably about 8 liens from 1986 all the way up to 2015. And it was interesting when you were talking about following federal rules. One of the liens comes from the Internal Revenue Service, and it's for the Montana Department of Revenue for $36,000. So that tells you that they can take care of the state liens.
Yes. Now we had an IRS agent call a guy I was helping, and he calls him on the phone, and he says, "We're here with we have your documentation, your motion that you're filed that you never received a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination." He said that the IRS agent says, "Well, it's not important that you get the notices. The only thing that's important is we sent them out." So I took the phone from the guy and I asked the agent, I said, "Man, I'm so glad you told us that. My question to you is, when are you going to send my client the $350,000 you owe him?" He says, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, you said he owes $400,000. The idiot wrote a check for $750,000. And I'm using what you said. You said it's not important that you receive it. It's just important that he mailed it. So I'll let him go stand by the mailbox until he gets it." He says, "That's not what I'm talking about." He said, "It don't matter what you do. It only matters what we do." I said, "Okay." And what was your name? What was your name again? And he just hung up on me. So don't threaten them or anything. Just be, even though you want to, just be halfway civil with them, because they can make your life miserable. So if you're going to talk to them or whatever, just talk to them with some kind of respect to save yourself a lot of grief. There will come a time when you'll be able to talk to them like that. But just be, unfortunately,
Do we have to answer the calls?
You do not. You do not, because you'll still get your. They're going to leave you a message saying that I'm so and so with the IRS's defense team or whatever, and they'll say we're going to put in a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. If you have any objections, call this number and let us know what it is. So just let it go. You don't have to answer it. But if you do, it's not. Either way, they're going to get what they asked for.
Yeah, this they called after I got the court order and mailed it with a notice. And
right.
Then they called, but I didn't answer it because I didn't feel like I wanted to discuss anything with them.
I understand. So it's all good. It's all good. But okay, the biggest calls that I'm getting, probably 50% or more of the calls that I'm getting is because you're filling out the original petition incorrectly. So if you have any questions, let me or Ed tell you how to fill it out. It's a real simple thing, but it works this way. I don't care how you do it, but if you do it the way we're doing it, it seems that when I help the people or it helps them, we don't have any problems.
Carrie, I'm on to say something, Carrie.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've had 2-3 calls this week that some people are still getting letters from the IRS after they've sent them their copies of their certified court orders. And what I'm telling them, or asking them first, is there anybody's signature on those papers you're receiving? And they say yes. And did you send the court of the court of record? Did you send it to that individual, or did you send it to an address that you got?
Morrow.
Yeah.
Ronnie Morrow.
Thank you, Ronnie.
So what I'm telling them is to send your certified copy back to that place it came from, to put attention the name that signed that document. And that way, if it ever comes down to you're going to sue them or something, you have already noticed them. Is that okay, Carrie?
Yes. Did you guys understand that?
No, Don, I did not understand. You said send a certified copy, attention who?
Okay, you can send a copy, get a copy of your certified copies, because they're $5 a piece, and a copy of it's not that expensive. If you get a letter in the mail from the IRS and John Doe signs it, and he's from Ogden, Utah, send a copy to Ogden, Utah, and then send one to Ogden, Utah with his name on it. Care of or attention so-and-so. That way you're addressing the person that sent it to you. So if you get a CP 504, and on that CP 504 there's a name, send it to that name, to that address.
Can you tell me this?
Try.
I have probably $150,000 worth of IRS notice of liens on me, which they turned into a lien and a levy. Will this remove a lien and a levy?
We have removed most of them. Yes, it will, but you have to ask them. It's not going to they don't do anything automatic. After you get your paperwork, if you'll call Ed or myself, we'll show you what we're doing and what's working with us.
Okay.
Ed and Carrie, can we ask a question?
No, you cannot. This is a man. Go ahead. Yes.
Sorry, we keep getting muted because we haven't been getting in front of the line here. Sorry, we've been noisy. Okay, so I'll let my husband tell you. Go ahead.
All right, so my question would be, I have a notification of receipt of petition that the court received. This is the United States Tax Court. They received my petition on February 20th, and it served it on the respondent on February 28th, which isn't that long ago. But, however, they made a mistake. They said the filing fee had been paid. And I had to call them, and surprisingly, I got through relatively easy, a live body, and it told them, would you please find out who paid the filing fee, because I know I didn't. And then she said, oh, well, it was an inadvertent error on our part. We're going to. So they sent out another letter saying that if your filing fee is not paid by February or April 5th, which was last Friday or whatever, that the case may be dismissed. So I've been checking my e-access on my docket every day, and nothing's going on. So what happens if they dismiss the case before they say that they haven't made a ruling?
Then Okay, I've done about 1,500 of them, and that's happened 4 times. So what I did in those 4 times is we just redid it. Chances are, they'll still make the ruling. I don't guarantee anything. I don't guarantee anything. But let's wait until they're finished, and then we can address it. That's like me. Where are you from? What state are you from?
Texas.
Okay. In Texas, what's it going to be like Friday? How much rain are you going to get? See,
about 2 inches.
Okay, but see, that's what you're asking. We don't know that until it does it. But chances are, the court almost always answers you and gives you that they don't have jurisdiction, and the reason they do because it's not about you now. It's about them and what they're doing wrong. And so what they're doing is they're trying to make the corrections.
All right.
So I have a question. I'm his wife.
Each family gets one question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Is this a community state too? I guess it is. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so we recently became quote unquote residents of Texas. In our whole lives, we made money and we paid taxes in California, but we've never really said to them, this is our notice that we are no longer residents of California. But we did turn in our California driver's license and got a Texas one, and we told them our new address is in Texas. But that's pretty much as we've done. Are we making a mistake? Are we confusing these people who are already pretty confused? Are we making a mistake by not putting it on the record?
Okay, I'm going to say this. I say this every week. It's not about you, okay? It's about them. What they're doing is illegal. What they're doing is contrary to the law. All we're doing is calling them. Whether you live in California, Michigan, Ohio, or Texas, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Can I add something to what you just said?
Yeah.
This is Xavier. I'm in Florida, but I'm from New York. I sent the IRS a letter from Florida, okay?
Okay.
Telling them to send any future mailings to me in Florida, right?
Yeah.
They specifically wrote to New York on purpose.
Right.
And a neighbor picked up the mail and sent it to me, so I wrote them back and told them, with the copy of the first letter, right, that I was living in Florida. So they know exactly where you're living. They don't care about that. They will make their errors. You just have to rebut them. And I had the same issue insofar as the court sent us letters saying that if we did not pay the filing fee, etc., it would be kicked out. What we did is we just did the same thing again, like you told us to, right? And in less than a week, we got the motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction.
Oh, right. Sweet.
Oh, wow.
And the reason for it is you don't have, when you pay the $60, you're on the administration side. You become on the administration side. When they do that, Title 26 pertains to you. If you don't pay the $60,
right?
Okay, so that's all. And so if they happen to send it to you and say, well, we're dismissing this because you didn't pay the $60, then just redo the paperwork and send it back in. I mean, that's all. I mean, I can't make them do it, but they do it more times. They do it almost every time. You'll get it there saying, you're getting it for lack of jurisdiction because, and then they'll, whatever it is you had on your paperwork, that's why if you do it the way I'm telling you to do it, it'll come back the way you want it. See?
So, Carrie, are you saying that if they send us a document in the next few days that say, your case is dismissed, that we just refile and do the petitions all over again exactly the way we...
I don't know. Apparently you did it wrong the first time, maybe. But if it says we are dismissing your case for lack of jurisdiction, you're okay. But if it says...
Oh, I see.
if it says we're dismissing it because you didn't pay the $60, it's dismissed. Okay. And
Ed looked at our documents, so we're good, I think, because we had Ed look at them before we mailed them.
Right. So chances are you'll get what you want.
Okay, very good. Thanks for straightening us out. We just weren't really sure. We were just kind of, a little on edge. And then the thing about the person that signs the letter, we've had the same guy sign letters for years. His name is Ronnie Morrow.
All right.
For years, we have attention Ronnie Morrow, whatever the hell his, whatever he calls himself. And honestly, I would absolutely love how to go after that person personally.
Well, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to do it with this, and the reason you'll be able to do it with this is because, see, their theory is the tax court doesn't pertain to them, but that's exactly who the tax court does pertain to. See, so there is a way to do it, and we'll, after you get your dismissal.
Determination.
Yeah, you get rid of when you get your dismissal, let us know, and then you understand I'm not an attorney, so I'm not telling you what to do.
No, I understand.
But we'll give you some suggestions that you might do that will help you in the future with this kind of stuff.
Well, the very first thing is to get the notice of lien off of our property that this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's our very first thing. And the second thing is I want to go after this guy because I'm sure he does this to many, many other people, and I'm tired of wasting my life, writing to this person. So.
Well, this is going to help that. This is going to help that.
Well, that's what we're hoping for. So anyway, thank you so much for everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Mercy.
Oh.
Carrie, I forgot to tell you that my son got his back for failure to pay. I was pretty shocked.
Yeah. Well, I'm not laughing, but I just said they don't do it, and then you tell me we did. But I've gotten a couple, but not.
I forgot to tell you that. Yeah, I mean, of all people to send that to, it would be my son, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, this.
Well, it's not unfortunate. I'm just going to crank out another one.
Right, and then just crank out another one. That's funny. Of all people. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
I do, Kerry.
Okay. Go ahead.
I know we've been talking about the IRS and jurisdiction, and I, in February or March, filed my petition and have started to receive documentation back. So I'll stay in touch on the progress as it goes on. What I'd like to talk about, though, is something Ed mentioned in the email, the jurisdiction process regarding county court, municipal court, traffic, and so forth. Is that on the topic list for tonight?
Well, that's not my expertise, but if you challenge the jurisdiction and the judge doesn't have it, and he says he does have it, and you appeal, you'll win on the appeal. That's what I do. I just challenge jurisdiction. They always tell me they have it, but they never prove it, so I file an appeal. And I appeal on the factor that I challenged jurisdiction, and they didn't prove it. And the appellate court, more than 90% of the times, overturns it. So
okay.
I know it does work there, but that's not my expertise.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you do that? Were you successful in doing that in the pretrial hearing verbally or during prior to a trial?
It doesn't matter. On the pretrial hearing, you ask them if they have jurisdiction. They're going to tell you yes. Then when they tell you yes, you say, well, then let me see it. He's going to say, I don't have to show it to you. No problem. I object. Because if you don't object, then you can't appeal. Then it doesn't matter. Let them throw the book at you, because when the appellate court overturns it, everything he says is overturned. So I hope that it helped you.
I think so. I've gone through that process during the.
Okay, send Ed an email, and that's really off topic tonight. And send Ed an email, and then he'll get it to me, and I'll call you, and I'll give you some things that I'm doing. And if you want to try them, I'll send you the paperwork on it. But that's kind of each state is different and all that. So
our blog is texasrepublic.wordpress.com. Our website is thetexasrepublic.com. Our email address is oneyellowroseenterprises@gmail.com. Our YouTube profile is, this is the link, because YouTube doesn't allow us to have a customized URL until we have over a certain number of subscribers. And follow us on Twitter at Texas Republic for You and at We Are Texians.
That's a little bit different.
Okay, well, Ed, I have your email. I'll send you this, and Carrie, I hope to talk to you soon.
No problem. Thank you. And make sure you put your phone number on there for us, please.
I sure will. Ed has my contact information.
Good enough. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything that they would like to add?
Yes, this is John again in Salt Lake City. On the $150,000 lien levy and the money that they stole from me through the notice of levy, in filing this petition, deficiency, etc., can I get back the money that they stole on the liens?
Okay. Again, you're going to have a court order saying that the IRS is going to tell you they did not have jurisdiction to do that. So the answer is you should be able to, but you're dealing with Al Capone. I'm not sure if Al Capone took your alcohol that he would give it back. I'm not sure he would, even though the law says he should. So the law says he should, and I can give you a couple of ideas that we've done. But they're in negotiations with us, but they haven't given it back yet. But to answer your questions, it should.
Okay, what about the State Tax Commission and the money they stole on their liens? Can that be gotten back?
Okay, again, I'm going to say when you get this set up properly, what's going to happen is you're going to ask the state, how do I file my tax return? They're going to tell you to use the federal tax return as your guide. The federal tax people are telling you they don't have jurisdiction, so they can't tell you. So what are they telling you? The state don't have it either. And then what I'm doing is I'm getting a letter from the IRS stating that you're not legally required to file a tax return. So I asked the states, how do we do your state income tax? They say, well, you follow along and do what the feds tell you to do. Well, the feds just told you they don't have jurisdiction and you're not legally required. Now that you have that from the state, it's real embarrassing to the state when you send them a notice saying, okay, here's what you said, here's your letter, and here's what the feds told me. How do I file my tax return? They're going to come back, and now they're going to tell you how to do it. Now you've got the same question with two different answers from the same guy. See, that's a fight that you can win. If I'm going to fight somebody, I want to fight somebody that I can win. Does that help?
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Now that does. I'm not saying that yes, it's going to work, but I'm telling you we're going to set you up and give you tools, and those tools are proper, they're legal, and they came from the court. So the question is, will they follow them? I don't know. After you ask them a couple of times, go to your state's attorney general. See, now you have a court order. What's the state attorney general going to say to you? Nah, we're not going to do nothing about it. He better not. See? So you'll have the tools to do it.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you will, get with us, and I'll go over some of that state stuff with you.
Okay.
Kerry?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Carl in DMV. Just for clarification, for my sake, because I like to wrap my arms around something and understand it fully.
Are you married? Are you married? Hold it. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Well, okay, never mind. Don't wrap your arms around somebody else's wife. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was kidding. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to ask you, or what I want to ask, is when it is the U.S. tax court that's saying they do not have jurisdiction?
No,
okay.
It is not. It's the IRS telling the U.S. tax court the IRS does not have jurisdiction. So what happens is the U.S. tax court gives you the court order signed by the judge saying that the IRS does not have jurisdiction for year so and so and so and so in this case. So that means the IRS does not have jurisdiction in your case. So how do they come back now later and say, well, we were just kidding? See, that's perjury. Do you know what perjury is called? You know what perjury is worth? 25 to life. 25 to life. So see, now the argument is no longer, I don't know, how many do you want, 25 to life or do you want 30 to life? It doesn't matter. See, now what you're doing is you're making the argument where you can win. See, the argument is now that the IRS said they don't have jurisdiction.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. I got it now. I just had a little crinkle.
Your arms were too short.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
You stretched them out long enough. Thank you.
I got you. Okay. Anyone else? Well, by your silence, then we're going to call it quits.
Kerry?
Yes?
I thought maybe we could explain a little bit why the thing says they don't have jurisdiction and why it works to get rid of the IRS. Because I don't think people understand that it looks like a dichotomy.
Okay. Well, would you help me with that?
I'll help you with that. What you'll get is an order that says the court doesn't have jurisdiction because the IRS couldn't find a notice of determination or a notice of deficiency for the years XYZ. And it's kind of frightening to say, oh, we're dismissing your case because we don't have jurisdiction. But then you have to see why it is they don't have jurisdiction. And when they say for lack of, they didn't file a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination, what they're saying to you is they didn't follow due process. Because in order to, and due process is the end all of everything in our system. When we can prove we didn't have due process, then we can, that's a civil rights violation. It's just too much. But what they're telling you is we did not follow due process because the notice of determination and the notice of deficiency are absolutely necessary before we can file a notice of lien in public record and before we can even threaten to take any of your stuff. You have to have what appears to be due process. It's not, but that it appears to be. And so when they say you didn't get those notices for those years, sorry, we don't have jurisdiction because nobody followed due process.
I put on. What's wrong with it?
Can you, sir, will you
I'll
mute
put it on
that
very
phone?
I did.
Thank you. Go ahead.
That was my explanation.
Okay. So, for those of you that are getting, they're dismissing it, that's what you want. Okay, and if you read the document, it's like that it says, what it does is it's telling you, if it says your notice of deficiency is recommended, but the notice of determination is required. It's required. So they don't have an option. It's not, it's like putting diesel fuel in a gasoline car. I put fuel in there, but it won't run. That's what they're doing. They're not giving you what they have to give you in order to do what they're doing. And if they tell the court, well, we gave it to them, they're telling you that they're cheating and they're lying. And see, now the argument's a whole different argument. So, did that answer your question?
Nobody had a question. We just talked about it.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, we just talked about it. I agree. This old age is killing me.
It's lack of due process, and and they got caught.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their way out.
Okay, do we have any more questions? If we don't have any more, then we're going to call it in. Okay, go ahead.
This is Sam in Jackson County, Texas. If I go to work for some employer and he insists that I fill out a W-2,
go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Just put exempt on there or married 100 kids.
All right.
It's irrelevant. See, it's not about you. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the year, you're not going to file anyways. This will protect you from that. But here's the choice I was faced with when I came up with this. If I fill out a W-2, they'll pay me $1,100 or $1,200 a week. If I refuse to do it, they're going to give the job to somebody else.
Right.
Okay. So with this, it doesn't matter because I haven't filed since 1988. And so if the IRS says, well, you have to file because you did a W-2 or W-4, whatever it is, what difference does it make what they're telling you? It's incorrect. Okay.
Yeah.
When you get this court order, it makes you wet yourself because you realize now what you have. When you read it with your name on it and it says the IRS doesn't have and has never had jurisdiction, when you look at that, you're thinking, this is unbelievable.
Well, would one of them letters like that work by giving it to an employer?
It's not a letter. It's a court order. So my question is, will your employer take the court order and follow the court order?
Sam, might I suggest that you may not have been on the call when Kerry explained that you can get a letter from the IRS once you get this that says that you're not one that has to file taxes. I would think that you would want to get one of those letters and give it to an employer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sam, have you ever seen a 2358C letter?
No, sir.
Okay, let me read you mine. Here, let me pull mine up, and I'll read it to you. Here's what it says. I'm sorry, I should have had it up, but I didn't have it up.
Paraphrase it, Kerry. You know what it says.
I know what it says. But nobody believes it, so I'm going to call it up and read it off, this stupid thing. Okay, here's what it says. And here's the reason why I say it's not about you. Okay? It says it's from the IRS. It's from Fresno. It's letter.
Check out our other videos and playlists. Republic of Texas RT documentary. Texas and other American states is under a military occupation. The Republic of Texas Forum of 2016. And describe the kind of people who would thrive in independent Texas. And so check them out.
2358C, and it starts off, Dear Taxpayer. Here's the problem. Remember it said, Dear Taxpayer. It says, thank you for responding to our inquiry about your above tax return. Based upon the information, we agree that you aren't legally required to file a tax return for the years above. It was 2010 to 2015. We are taking no further action at this time. Now, how do they call me a taxpayer and I'm not legally required to file a tax return? That's an oxymoron.
You didn't send him the letter that said, don't call me that again, because they won't when you do.
Right. See, so, but the point that I'm making is, see, what I'm doing is I'm doing stuff that people say I can't do, but I do it anyways. And I'll help you get all of this stuff. See? Then they also have a revocation of election that you can do. But that's, again, there's no reason to get into that if you don't have the other stuff. But when you go and get your court order that says the IRS does not have jurisdiction, you're going to use that court order to get your 2358C. Then when you get your 2358C letter, see, now what?
Well, maybe you're off the hook.
Well, see, but this is the IRS is telling me they don't have jurisdiction, and they're telling me that I'm not legally required to file a tax return. So I don't know what I can I don't know what else I can possibly do. I don't get into all of this. I'm a living, breathing soul. I'm a sovereign, and I got 3 legs and 2 eyes, and I don't get into all that. What I'm doing is I'm using the law that's there, and I'm presenting it to them, and they're giving me everything that I want.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you have Ed's email address?
Oh, yes, I know Ed real well. In fact, I could probably correspond with him in person.
Okay, well, good.
Thank you.
If you want to, let me know, and Ed will help you. If you want to do this, that's if you want to, and if not, that's fine too. And then Ed will give you my number, and if you call me, I'll actually send you the documents that I used to get my letter.
Okay, I appreciate it.
It's no problem. Does anyone else have a question?
I got on earlier when my buddy was on. Matt, my name's Tommy, and we were trying to get the email address. I had some stuff that would have been kind of lengthy with some of the ones that I've gotten. So I just wanted to make sure that we got that email address right.
Okay.
Could he
possibly
give that one more time?
Yeah, R-E-P. Did you catch that? R-E-P.
P as in Paul?
R-E-P, yes, as in Paul.
Okay.
T-X.
T as in Tommy X?
Yes.
Okay.
777.
777?
Yeah, at att.net.
Okay, cool.
And send him any kind of information you want. But I'm just
asking. Yeah. I have an interesting situation regarding the CP 504s that I got, because I did a whole trail of correspondence with them the whole entire time.
See, and it doesn't work.
No, they ignored everything.
Okay, what we're doing is we're giving them a court order, and that court order comes from the tax court that came from the IRS commissioner. The IRS commissioner said we can't do what we're doing, and the court is saying, okay, I agree, and then the judge signs it. So it brings a little bit more. It brings a little bit. Okay, and that's all we're doing. And then
I'm on board. I heard last week's call The thing, what's interesting about mine is what's interesting is my last letter that I wrote was actually to the tax commissioner, and I was actually telling him that I was going to take him to the tax court in regards to the fact that I was trying to get a refund on a reclaim on a mortgage note that I had done, where they never showed me what was frivolous about it. So I don't know if there's some way I could even possibly try to get into that refund.
When you get this, you'll tell me, are you in front of a computer by any chance?
I can get back in front of it.
Okay, get in front of it. And when you do, I'm going to take you to the spot and let you read several, and then you'll see where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Well, he's getting on. Are you ready? Okay, does anybody else have a question that we can try to address?
Where am I going on the computer?
Okay, U.S. Tax Court, docket inquiry.
Yeah.
And then you'll see individual name, corporate name, and docket number. Just click individual name.
Oh, I got the whole packet already.
That's okay. Just do it. I'm going to show you what you'll get.
Okay.
Put in my last name.
Okay, back and have a couple of individual. That is the very top tabs.
No, it's individual name.
Docket inquiry.
Docket inquiry. Go to docket inquiry.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, then individual name, and then it says last name. Type in my last name. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Z as in zebra, Olman.
Z.
Yes.
Z as in zebra.
Olman. Then type in Cary, Cary. And then there's where it says state, put TX, and then hit search. And then go grab one of those. There's a whole bunch of them. I think there's 10 of them. I've had to do this 10 times to get it right.
That was
Texas. Open up. Go ahead.
Texas, you said?
Yes.
Zolman.
Yes.
Cary, Carey.
No E.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, pull one of them up. I don't care which one. Pull it up, and then when it pulls up, go to the far right, go to the very bottom where it says final order, and then open it up, and then read it. That's what we get. And then you can answer your own question whether or not that will do what you want it to do.
That's beautiful.
See? Now, will that do what you want it to do? Because it's a court order. You order a certified copy, and the judge's wet ink signature.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll take care of, them yanking my chain. I was just talking about getting the money that I was trying to get back off of them, but, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Right. Then you write a cover letter and send it to whoever you want. Hey, if you don't have jurisdiction and you took my money, see? Now, if they don't answer you, now you have a court order. Sue them in the United States District Court. Why? Because they're violating a court order. Now they're in contempt of court. That's a different argument. That's an argument I can win.
Very cool.
See, it's not about taxes. It's not about you. It's about them. See? Now I want you to listen to this. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer it. Okay. I'm going to shoot you with a 9mm or a .45. What do you want me to shoot you with?
Either one. I probably would take the 9.
Okay, see? You picked the 9. Ask me the same thing.
I'm going to shoot you either with a 9 or a 45mm.
Okay. Finish the question. What do you want me to shoot you with?
What do you want me to shoot you with?
No, absolutely nothing. See? You don't win. You see? That's just my specialty. See?
Yeah.
See, I asked you, what do you want me to shoot you with?
You asked me. Okay.
That's
okay.
Right. And you see,
Okay, I need to learn how to think like you think.
Well, that's going to be hard for you, but never draw a conclusion. So what I listen to what they say, and then I come back and ask them what they said. I repeat it back, and it just infuriates them because I'm answering the question they asked, not the question they want answered. See? And so that's just and so that's how I developed this, by listening to what they say. So when if you read what they gave me, then I can call the courthouse and they'll give me one with the wet ink signature of the judge on it. See, now I have a court order. I don't have a letter. I don't have a stamp. See, with what it says, where can you take that? You can go anywhere you want and do what? Anything you want. Now, it's not always easy. It's not always easy. Sometimes it is. But if you have to fight, it's not a fight. I don't want to pay my taxes. I don't care. I'll pay my taxes. I'll pay 3 times. Whatever you say, I'll pay it. The problem is you don't have jurisdiction to tell me. So if they don't have jurisdiction to tell me and they took your money, then let's go to the court and get it back. Why? Because they're in violation of a court order. See, it just makes everything different.
Beautiful.
Does that make any sense?
Hell yeah.
Okay. And it's,
we can't see the forest for the trees,
There it is. See? Yep, I can't see the forest. There's too many trees in my way. That's right.
If nobody has a question, I have a really good anecdote about that particular issue.
I have a question.
Okay,
Anybody got a question?
I have a question.
Go ahead and ask it, and we'll have her finish it out. Go ahead.
It's Chris from Minnesota. I received a 2800C from my employer, which the IRS sent to the employer, on which I had claimed exempt because I don't want to party with you, and so they sent this letter to the employer, which the employer was to give me a copy of, and 1 month after receiving the letter, they were going to withhold maximum amount, and so, and have been kind of going on that way for a while now.
Okay, and when you get your court order, you give it to your employer and you give it to the person that sent the 2800. Now you have a court order. If they don't mind the court order, don't go to your employer and sue them. They'll fire you. Go to the IRS. The IRS agent that signed it or gave it to you. If it's not on there, now you can take it. Go to the Attorney General. Take them to the United States District Court. Even though they don't have jurisdiction on the IRS, they have it on government or United States lawsuits. They can cover that. You have a court order. They're violating the court order. The IRS won't show up. The judge will give you your judgment. Now you got it. It's all doable. That will take care of everything that you need. If you think past, well, this is what I used to do. I don't care what you used to do. Used to do didn't work.
Right.
That makes sense. See, let me ask you a question now. I want you to think about this. Have you stopped poisoning your neighbor's dog?
I never started, but maybe I want to.
Right? See, but you see, you're defending a negative. That's what this does to them. This makes them defend a negative. See? They can't defend a negative any more than you can.
Okay.
Okay, Desi, go ahead. Do your thing.
Okay, I wanted to address the fact that you said that we don't listen. They did a survey in the United States to see how many people had perfect pitch, and it turned out to be between about 3%. It's fairly rare. They did a survey in China to see how many people had perfect pitch, and it was 99.999. Almost every Chinese has perfect pitch. The difference is Chinese is a sing-song language, and when they're spoken to, they have to repeat it in the same cadence, at the same rhythm, with the same inflections that they heard, that someone spoke to them. So it depends totally on what they hear and how to repeat it, because if they get the inflection wrong, they don't speak correctly. And so they have developed the ability to listen, and that listening has given them perfect pitch. Mm-hmm. We have, in the United States, we never learned to listen.
That's correct. When I was a kid, we used to, in Sunday school class, they would line us all up on a chair, one after the other. And the Sunday school teacher would whisper in your ear, corn and green beans is good for your liver. Then you tell the next guy what you heard. When it got to the end of the row, the kid would stand up and say, don't chew bubble gum before you go to bed. Or something like that. And so I realized right then that we need to learn to listen. I've just come up with a knack to do that. I listen to what they say, and when you go to court, it will pay benefits. It will pay you many times over, because they're going to ask a question. The question that they ask is not the answer that you have to give them, because that's not the question they're asking. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, we got to change our habits and learn to listen.
Just learn to listen.
Okay. Carrie, if I have just a second, you that I wanted to share a change in thinking that when we first spoke, and I listened to you talk about this court order for of dismissal for lack of jurisdiction.
Yeah.
I had to 36 times, and even now tonight when I pulled it up on USTaxCourt.gov, there is a real key to understanding this. When I first read it, I didn't agree with you at all that this said the IRS lacks jurisdiction. I really could not get in my head that that is what this court order said. Because of the way it was written, I was hung up looking at this last clause of the sentence that says that would permit petitioner, that's me, that would permit petitioner to invoke the court's jurisdiction. And the way I read that was, wait a minute, this is the IRS convincing the court that I don't have jurisdiction in this court. However, back up to the very first clause of that sentence. It says, respondent filed a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction on the ground that, and here's the kicker, on the ground that, this is what the IRS is claiming as a fact, on the ground that no notice of deficiency or other notice of determination was issued to petitioner for the taxable years, yada, 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 that would permit me to invoke the court's jurisdiction. But what they are saying, the grounds for their motion, is that they never filed a notice of deficiency or determination. It's that fact.
Right. No due process.
No due process. That's exactly what you were describing earlier, and that's exactly correct. What they're admitting to the court, they're claiming to the court that they didn't follow any due process. Now, they don't come out explicitly and say that they don't have jurisdiction. They're just saying they didn't follow due process. Well, I can take this court order and say, look, if you had jurisdiction, you would have followed due process. You didn't follow due process. You don't have jurisdiction. And unless and until you follow due process, you do not exert jurisdiction.
There you go. And now you're getting up. Look, let me see if you're listening. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. I want you to say yes or no to the 4 questions. I'm going to just rattle them off pretty quick. Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you live in a house?
That's a fifth question.
That's the third question.
No, you asked if I was ready.
Okay, that's fine. Are you ready? Okay.
Yes.
Ask me. Okay, set me up the same way and ask me.
Okay.
And then just do it, but you got to set it up that way so that I know what you're talking about. I'll show you how I did it in court. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. Are you ready?
No, you didn't finish it. You're going to ask me 4 questions. How do you want me to answer them?
Answer yes or no to the 4 questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Are you ready?
Yes or no.
Excellent.
See? You asked me to answer.
Correct.
Okay, when I asked that guy, does he want me shooting with a 9mm or a 45? So shoot me with a 9mm. No problem. I'll be glad to. What's happening is when we go to the court, they're saying, we're going to give you an opportunity here to negotiate. We're going to give you 5 years imprisonment or we're going to give you 25 years imprisonment. Which one do you want? I'll take the 5 years. Me? I'll take no years.
Right.
That's what they asked. And these court orders are the same thing. Read the court order. Listen to what it says.
Yep.
So I hope that hasn't wasted anybody's time. Now, what I'm going to do here is, who was I going to send the 2358C to? Who was I going to send that to?
Sam.
Sam, yes. Sam, would you give me your email address?
I'm not too sure Sam's still on here.
All right.
He's a good friend of Ed's.
Yeah.
That's fine.
They don't live about 40 miles from me.
Okay. Do you have my 2358C letter?
Yeah, I've got it.
Okay. Send it to him. And that's what we're going to get. And that's what we're going to try to get people.
Okay.
Does anybody have another question? Because we're going to shut it down.
We're about out of time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome.
We're going to have to shut this one down then. Everybody's still on here with... I didn't catch
Thank
that.
you. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Thank you. We have a call every second and fourth Tuesday.
Thank you, Carrie and Ed.
Thank you.